Well, hello again. Glad you're able to join us in our weekly video reflection from St. Monica's here in Rochester. It's a fine, beautiful fall day today. Enjoying the colors that are starting coming out. And I thought we'd talk about something a little bit different. The orphan virtue. We hear an awful lot about the virtues that we should have. We hear all the time about faith. Faith is something that is given to us. Faith is the reason why we believe in a divine presence of God, and we have the faith that Jesus Christ really truly is God and came here and died for our understanding of what salvation is. And we have faith in these truths that we have been taught all the way down through hundreds and thousands of years. We have faith in that. And we know that we hear a lot about charity or love. Love is the greatest of all the virtues. It is the expression of the divine care for us to start with. That God loved us first before anyone else did. And that we imitate God's love for our neighbor, first and foremost, and for ourselves. That love is very, very important. So we hear a lot about faith. We hear a lot about love. But there's also the orphan virtue. One we don't hear quite so often, but maybe we need to hear of right now. And that, of course, is hope. Do we have hope? For faith, hope, and love are the three greatest virtues. But hope is sometimes very hard to come by. Harder to understand. I'm being given faith. I'm justified by faith that's been given to me. I try to love God with my whole heart, my whole mind, my whole strength, and my neighbor as myself. What is hope, though? Well, a few years ago, Pope Benedict XVI wrote 3 encyclicals, the teachings of the Church, one on faith, one on charity, and, yeah, you guessed it, one on hope. And in his introductory paragraph, he makes this statement to talk about what hope is. And I'll quote, "Redemption is offered to us in the sense that we have been given hope, trustworthy hope, by virtue of which we can face our present, the present, even if it is arduous, can be lived and accepted if it leads towards a goal, if we can be sure of this goal, and if this goal is great enough to justify the effort of the journey." End of the quote. We have hope, but what are we hoping for? Where is that directed? That's what Pope Benedict tries to talk about during this encyclical. And trustworthy hope, by virtue that we can face our present, even if it is arduous. And if we look at our world today and our personal situation, it's easy to see that we're in a very arduous time period, very trying, sometimes frightening, sometimes doubt-casting, present. We have the virus that we worry about, sickness in general. There are many other sicknesses besides the COVID-19, but that's the one that's at the top of the list right now. There's conflicts in the streets. They're around race, around economic privilege. There are the questions about the election and what will happen. Of course, President Trump went to the hospital last night. The virus complicates matters and makes this present even more arduous as to what's going to happen. So it's hard to be hopeful when we don't have a whole lot of solid ground under our feet in the way things are going right now. So what is our hope? And Benedict goes on to say throughout the encyclical that a hope is that we are indeed redeemed. We are people in this world, but not of this world. We hope for our final destination, which is heaven. And he talks a little bit about what heaven is and what it is not. Heaven is not a continuation of what we're doing now. Heaven, the life after death, is not just a pleasant place that's just like here. No. Benedict talks quite a bit about the fact that the place beyond death, eternal life, is a unity with the creative, loving divine. The one that has given us the hope of redemption, that we are not condemned to a dull, monotonous eternity of just the same thing we've had all our life. No, we are promised, and we believe in faith, that we are transformed, we're changed. We have hope that comes along with our faith and our charity at baptism, that we are indeed loved by God, and that God loved us first. God gave us faith and gave us hope and gives us a wonderful sense of love, so we may be united with the divine, with our loved ones, and with the entire creation in praising God in a whole new world. And that's what we hope for. Let us all live in hope that we indeed will attain that redemption, even though we have very arduous and trying present times. With faith in God and love of neighbor and our hope for salvation, we can have a positive attitude towards all the things that are around us today. And we will prevail with God's good help. May God's grace be with you, and may you have a quiet soul in the trust and love of God. Amen. See you again.